Hey everyone. So chances are you've caught wind of that whole duloxetine recall thing, right? It's been making the rounds.
Yeah.
And understandably, it's got people kind of, well, freaked out, especially if depend on this medication.
Mhm.
We're here to break it all down, like really get into what's happening and what it means for anyone who's listening.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not just like a blip on the radar for a lot of folks out there.
Right.
Duloxetine, you might know it as Cymbalta.
Right.
It's prescribed for like what? Depression, anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
even chronic pain, people managing that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it has the potential to affect like a huge number of people, this recall.
Okay, so let's jump right in. Okay, what are we talking about here, like specifically with this recall?
So, we're looking at over 7,000 bottles
Right.
of duloxetine, and this is the delayed release capsules, specifically the 20 milligrams strength.
Okay.
Now, the manufacturer, the one we're talking about here, is Towa Pharmaceutical Europe. And every single one of these bottles, they all have the same lot number. It's 200128.
Okay.
And they expire in December 2024. So seriously, like first things first, if you're taking duloxetine, go grab your bottle right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Check those details. Super important.
Okay, so this recall, like, it didn't just happen randomly.
Right.
There's a reason, right? Like a specific reason.
Yeah, for sure. And it's actually pretty important that, we understand why this is happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
So basically what triggered this whole thing was they found this compound, N-nitroso-duloxetine, in the affected batches.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not good.
Okay.
And this compound, it's been flagged as a potential carcinogen.
Okay, and just to be clear,
Yeah.
carcinogen means, like, it could potentially cause cancer.
Right, exactly. It has that potential.
Right.
Now, important point here.
Yeah.
Just because they found this compound doesn't mean that, like, automatically everyone who took medication from this batch is going to get cancer.
Right.
That's not what we're saying. But the risk is, it's significant enough that, like, they got to take action.
Right, and that's where the FDA comes in, right? With their, like, classification of this whole recall.
Exactly. So the FDA, they've called this a Class 2 recall.
Okay.
What that means is there's a possibility of, like, temporary health problems or maybe something that's reversible
Mm-hmm.
that are associated with this medication from this batch.
Okay.
So it's serious. Definitely it needs attention.
Yeah.
But we're not talking, like, immediate life-threatening danger. Okay.
Okay, so hearing all this, I mean, I think a lot of people's instinct would be like, whoa, stop taking the meds right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But I have a feeling that's, like, the opposite of what you should do.
You are absolutely right.
Okay.
That is, like, the worst thing you could do, honestly.
Really?
If you just stop duloxetine cold turkey, it can mess you up. Like, seriously.
Like, what are we talking about?
Nausea, you could get dizzy, trouble sleeping, like your anxiety could actually spike. Your mood swings could get even worse. It's kind of ironic.
Yeah.
You stop taking the medication and the thing it's supposed to help you with gets worse. So no, don't just stop.
Okay, so for anyone listening who's like, maybe panicking a little bit right now,
Right.
let's lay it out like crystal clear. What are the steps? You've got your duloxetine. It's from that lot.
Okay, so first things first. Do not stop taking your medication.
Okay.
Number one. Then check the bottle, that lot number, 220128, and the expiration date, December 2024.
Oh, yeah.
If it matches, you got to call your doctor, like ASE.
Okay, and when they call their doctor,
Yeah.
what should they expect? Like, what are the options here?
Well, the doctor, they're going to be able to advise on, like, the best way to handle this. It might be switching to a different batch of duloxetine.
Okay.
Or maybe they look at different medications altogether. There are options, though. That's the good news. And your doctor will help you figure it all out.
It's so important, I think, for people to hear that they're not alone in this.
Yeah, definitely.
And that there are, like, resources and support.
Absolutely. And in the meantime, while you're waiting to talk to your doctor, just pay attention to how you're feeling.
Right.
Anything weird, any unusual symptoms, report it immediately.
This whole situation, it really makes you think, like,
Yeah.
About being informed about our medications.
Mhm.
I know, I'll admit, like, sometimes I take the pill, don't even think about it too much.
Yeah, it's easy to do, right?
Totally.
But then something like this happens.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, wait, I should probably know what I'm putting in my body.
Yeah, for real.
Mhm.
Like, what are the risks and where do you even go to get, like, accurate information?
Right, right.
I've even heard about, like, AI being used now to help with that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard of anything like that?
Yeah, there's definitely, like, some cool stuff happening.
Really?
AI is starting to, like, help us sift through all that health info online.
Huh.
It's crazy how much is out there. Have you heard of podcastworld.io?
Podcastworld.io. Ooh, yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
It's that platform that uses AI to search podcasts, right?
Exactly.
I like vaguely remember reading about it.
Yeah, so it's not just like finding podcasts on a certain topic.
Right.
It's way more than that. It's about finding the exact parts of those podcasts that answer your question.
Oh, wow.
Like, imagine you could ask, what are the side effects of switching from duloxetine? And podcastworld.io would be like, boom, here's the exact minute and second in this medical podcast where they talk about that.
Okay, now that you mention it, that does sound familiar. I
Yeah.
remember thinking it sounded kind of futuristic.
I know.
But how does it actually work? Does it just like scan for keywords or something?
No, it's way smarter than that.
Okay.
It uses AI that like understands what's being said.
Wow.
So it can match your question even if the podcast doesn't use the exact same words.
That's incredible.
Right.
So like theoretically, I could ask about this duloxetine recall and get answers from like a doctor or a researcher who talked about it on their podcast.
Exactly. And it gets even cooler. You can actually chat with AI bots
What?
that are like representing specific podcasts or even individual podcasters. It's like having a direct line to them, you know, getting their take on things.
That's wild.
I know, right?
So basically, if I'm like freaking out about this recall and want to hear what actual doctors are saying, I could just hop on podcastworld.io and hear it straight from them.
Yep. It's all about cutting through the noise and getting to the info you need from sources you trust. And you know it's reliable because they focus on those high-quality podcasts, the ones with a good track record.
This feels like, honestly, a game changer.
Yeah,
Especially for people who, you know, want to stay informed about their health,
for sure.
but just don't have the time to read through tons of articles and websites.
Yeah, who does?
It's like having your own personal like research assistant, but for a podcast.
I love that analogy. Totally.
I am definitely checking out podcastworld.io after this.
You should.
This whole conversation has been like really eye-opening.
I'm glad.
It makes you realize this duloxetine recall is serious, but it's also like a wake-up call, you know?
Absolutely. It shows you how complicated drug manufacturing is
Yeah.
and how we always got to be on top of things when it comes to medication safety. Like even with all the rules and checks, stuff can still slip through.
It's kind of unsettling when you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just assume every pill is going to be totally safe.
You can't. And that's why being informed and proactive is so important.
Yeah.
We got to understand our meds, why we're taking them, what the side effects could be, and what to do if something feels wrong.
It's about taking control, right? Like, really owning your health.
100%. And, you know, it's a chance to build a better relationship with your doctor, too.
Yeah.
Ask questions. Advocate for yourself. It's a team effort.
This whole thing also makes me think about, like, the pharmaceutical industry in general. And, like, public trust, or maybe the lack of it.
Right.
Have you noticed, like, any trends or anything in how people are reacting to this recall?
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's like a heightened awareness, for sure.
Yeah.
And, you know, some skepticism, too, which is understandable.
Right.
People are worried, right? They rely on this medication. And then suddenly it's like, wait, this could be dangerous.
Yeah.
It makes you question things, you know, like how much oversight is there really? How much can we trust these companies?
Makes you wonder, like, how often does this kind of stuff happen and we don't even hear about it?
Exactly.
And then what do we do with that? How do we, as patients, deal with that uncertainty?
That's where, like, really taking charge of your own health comes in, you know? We can't just assume everything's going to be fine or that the FDA is going to catch every little thing. We got to stay informed, ask questions, and really look out for ourselves.
And that brings us back to, like, what we were talking about earlier with podcastworld.io and stuff like that.
Right. Having those resources, getting those expert opinions.
Yeah.
It can make a huge difference, you know? Help us make smarter choices about our health.
So for everyone listening, let's just go over the main points again.
Yeah, good idea.
If you're taking duloxetine, check your bottle, the lot number, the expiration date. If it's a match with the recall, call your doctor.
ASA.
Like, don't wait.
And don't panic, most importantly. And don't just stop taking your meds.
Right.
Your doctor, they can help you switch to a different batch, maybe a different medication altogether.
This is all about, like, Being proactive, right?
Yeah.
Staying informed about your medications, asking questions, not being afraid to get more info from, like, good sources.
Exactly. This whole recall thing, it's definitely scary, but you can also see it as an opportunity.
Oh, interesting. How so?
It's a chance to become like a more informed patient,
Hmm.
really engage with your doctor, advocate for yourself. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your health.
That's so true.
And remember, you're not in this alone, okay? There are resources out there, people you can talk to, experts who can help you make the right decisions.
This has been such a great conversation. Thank you so much for, like, breaking all this down for
Oh,
us.
my pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
Anytime.
We hope this has helped everyone listening feel, a little bit more informed and empowered
Absolutely.
to, really take charge of your health.
Stay curious, stay well, and remember, your health is the most important thing you have.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Until next time, everyone, take care.